Welcome to Tea Time with Talent Acquisition, the podcast aimed at fostering knowledge and sharing stories within the vibrant talent acquisition community. I'm your host, Eden, and for the next hour or so, I'm going to be joined by another returning guest of our podcast, this time by the brilliant founder of one of Berlin's most loved talent communities. She's poured her heart into creating a safe space for talent professionals these last year and has made something both for offline and online that is truly doing wonders for the careers of so many of its members. We here at Peritus are so proud to be part of the community that she's created, and now stepping back into the podcast room together, I'm very excited to explore her new topic of career operating systems. So when you're ready, grab your favorite tea or coffee if you prefer, and join me in welcoming today's guest, Andreea, the founder of the Principal Recruiter and Talent Crunch Berlin. So thank you so much for joining.
Hi, Eden. Thank you for having me again. As you said,
Again.
I'm honored whenever I must have been doing something well the first time.
I
And-
just think I like the fact that you don't talk crap on the podcast, which is nice. It's just straight
okay, yeah,
talking.
thank you. That's also true. With some it works, with some it doesn't. So regardless, thanks for having me. I think it's important that we bring into discussion a topic which is a bit adjacent to the whole AI is going to take over the world piece. And I'm glad to have a platform through which we can debate this a bit.
Absolutely. And look, I think I said it at the beginning, I just want to stress it out to anyone who isn't aware of, the community that you're building. It's brilliant. And not just to stroke egos or anything like that. I think so many people are benefiting truly from what you're doing. And I think I think it needs to be shared more about where, where people can come and find the community. So I just want to give you the platform at the beginning where I've got the most listeners are here at this point.
Yeah,
Tell us a little bit about kind of what you're building.
thank you. I actually agree with you, and this is not me being arrogant, but it is just seeing the results of the work. A very quick background. My background is in talent acquisition. It has been for 15 years plus. I think I'm nearing 16 years in doing that. And I was always hands-on. I never went into leadership. That was on purpose. It was a decision I made. And when I started the community 2.5 years ago, roughly, it came from a place of we came out of COVID. Berlin lost its spark in terms of talent acquisition, and I just couldn't see that happening because I love my profession, and I think people needed to get closer together. So that was what sparked it originally. Where we are today, we just celebrated on the 21st. So this month we celebrated our 30th event. I do with the community. We have in-person events, we have leadership events, we have webinars. And we have built in time over the last 2 years, but primarily really pushed over the last year. We built an entire ecosystem of things, and it's unbelievable seeing them all come together and working together. It's mind blowing in a way. There is Slack where people can come join the community where we talk to each other a bit more. There is the LinkedIn page where you will have all the updates, all the news, everything that will be pushed out comes on LinkedIn and on Substack. Substack is where we run the newsletter. At the moment, it runs once a month. But together with the newsletter, there is a playbook, which means that you get access to everything that we do in the events. So it's like a teaching, right? Or where you couldn't be there, don't worry, we will tell you what happened. And we have the talent spotlight. So we put a spotlight on a member of the community every month to give them the stage back, more or less. Then you have Instagram, you have a million other things. And the latest thing I launched was the directory, which is a services directory. My intention with this is to allow people who are coaches, consultants like myself, to have a place where they can come and present their services. This is not making the community a commercial place, but it is allowing people who work with other people to present themselves a little bit. So this is the latest edition. And of course, if individuals would love to come and join us, I would be thrilled to welcome people. We are global. So even though we started in Berlin, we have 4,000 members right now, and it's 60% DACH region, or more or less. And then you have the UK, then you have the Netherlands is a big part, and then you have the US, India. It's really just spread all over, to be honest.
I also really enjoy the fact, and this is where this conversation's come out of, right? So good about career operating systems and how we can utilize that in our own careers in talent acquisition to develop. but all these ideas kind of span out of what that is happening in the community. You're looking at ideas of how to improve, yourself, how to improve the community, but how to improve the members of us as well. So, like I said, hats off to what you're doing. I know firsthand building something isn't easy. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of kind of late nights with no wind, and then all of a sudden it kind of just sparks, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone goes, "Oh, wow, that's an overnight success." It's absolutely not an overnight success.
Yeah.
It's something you've grafted very well. So I do recommend if anyone wants to listen or is listening, wants to join, if you're not already, please go do so. But let's talk about career operating systems. When you refer to that, tell us exactly what do you mean?
Mm-hmm. Well, think of a career operating system as any other operating system, something that you input something in and then it does something for you. My intention in building this, I've built similar things to this for the past maybe 5 to 6 years in my profession, and that was originally for the teams I was collaborating with inside corporate companies. Then I came out of corporate, and then I thought I do coaching, I do mentoring, I do a lot of these things, but I don't feel like there is a place where everything lands. Um, and observing the repeat questions that I get and where people get blocked the most, myself included, I was like, okay, how do things work? How does a computer work? You just put some stuff in and then it spits out some other stuff and it kind of works for you and you get a result that you can say, oh, okay, I can do something with this. So the purpose of the career operating system, which originally was called career archetype, we talked about this before, but then I was like, okay, maybe the terminology is not doing it justice, is to allow individuals, regardless of their walk of life, they can be in more or less any profession at any level of their career, to understand how do I translate what I do in my day-to-day job to what my real skills are, which of those skills are transferable, because today we may need to change jobs.
Mhm.
So that's one thing. The other thing is, how do I use what I do on my day-to-day job to move inside my company, vertically, diagonally, horizontally, whatever it may be. And then you have things that people don't think about. Values, their values, and their strengths for real. Not the strengths that somebody said, you're so good at project management.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are other strengths that I haven't uncovered about myself. So trying to put all of this under one umbrella, and this career operating system is supposed to spit out for you, where are you the strongest? Where are your passions? What should you pursue, more or less? It should inform your decisions and also give you a confidence boost, right? It has a brag document inside as well. Give you a little bit of a confidence boost on how do I sell myself? How do I actually talk about the things I do in a way that other individuals who don't understand my profession get it? I think that's not a very short description, but I think that captures it.
The elevator pitch as if it was the elevator was quite high. No, I'm joking.
Yeah,
So
a little.
let's break it down a little bit. Obviously, there's too much to cover in just this one episode, but let's break
Yes,
down a little bit around what the operating system can do. You mentioned strengths, right? So
yes,
I've gone through strength training with one of our former guests, a lady called Zoe. It was fantastic. Actually, the whole team did it in the end because the
nice.
strengths that came out of that training, it wasn't, oh, you're a good closer. Like there were things, they weren't anything to do with recruitment. It was just core strengths in general. I've actually got mine, to be honest. I'll have to pull it up as we're talking. So I've
Yeah.
kept mine. I look at mine as like as a consistent reminder of things that I should lean into. So it kind of, when you start talking about that, it kind of, it reminded me a little bit of that. It was Clifton strength
Clifton.
training.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was it. So mine is achiever, learner, focus, competition, and consistency. They're like my top five. And like obviously I had a personal relationship with four of those, and then I had a negative relationship with the word competition, and then then you start seeing how it is actually a strength for you. But anyways,
Mm-hmm.
tell me a little bit about kind of from your experience, how does this operating system help analyze strengths, and then how
Mm-hmm.
can we help map those strengths to tasks, I guess, or
Yeah.
to our role?
So Clifton is fabulous. Is definitely one of the tools that I recommend in this career operating system when people are doing it on their own, but it is paid. There are also free
Yeah.
versions and free options, which I will also give access to. One of the ones that I would mention immediately is the Red Bull Wing Finder. It's 45 minutes. It's free. and it's solid. So anyone listening, please go do your Red Bull Wing Finder. It's brilliant.
Red Bull Wing Finder.
Wing Finder. Yeah, it's Red Bull. So the drink
The
that
drink.
everybody knows. Yeah.
Ah, got it. Give your wings to your career. Red Bull.
Yes.
All right. We'll put
It's
in
really
the
cool.
footnotes. Okay.
And there are some others as well. The important thing is that we need to go and try to figure these things out. As you well said, it's about our core strengths, not only what we are good at doing in a specific job or not. Then there is a second step after that, because
Mhm.
every strength that we have, so first understanding where we stand, you can also get feedback, right, to understand kind of where we are. But there is a second layer after that, because every strength has its what is called a basement and a ceiling.
Mhm.
So a strength will help you in a way and will make your life really difficult in another way. My
Yeah.
top strength in Clifton is command, which is great because I can command, I can go into a room, immediately understand what's going on, and just do bam, 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 bam. ADHD also helps. But then the basement of this is that I step on people's toes. I come across as abrasive, etc., etc. So understanding, get yourself your 5 top strengths, however, in whichever way you want. Use
Mhm.
tests, use feedback, use your own self-reflection, or
Yep.
better, do all of them. Get yourself your top 5 strengths and then understand the breakdown. How does this serve me? How is this a disservice for me?
Mhm.
And understanding that, then you are able to then pair it with the rest. It's not a singular thing that you do, put on a pedestal, off you go. But then you have to combine it. You have to look at your values. For example, again, I'll use myself because it's easier, right? I
Yeah.
have command, and one of my top values is authenticity. Now, this means I know that I can go in and command the room and things like that, but I know I step on toes, so I know that I value authenticity, which means that, oh my God, in order for me to act authentically, I need to be in a space where even if I step on toes, they're not gonna push me away. I will be
Yeah.
allowed to mess up. And what may happen, for example, is I know I have to kind of lead with that. I have to preempt objections and say, hey, this is what may happen. I show up authentically, which may sometimes step on your toes. However, this is what I can deliver if you allow me to show up as myself.
Yeah.
I hope you understand what I'm trying to get. It's the way that this whole thing connects to each other, and this is just a
Yeah.
part of it.
So it's having that reflection time to understand what are my true strengths, not my strengths in my job, but what are my actual strengths as a person, as a human, and then linking that to the values and seeing how it could positively have an impact, how it can negatively have an impact. I think it's also being mindful of that. And I think if I take myself, because I've got my Clifton results, we can go through them as well, like I said. So I had with competition,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good thing because obviously I'm always striving, but obviously it's also a negative thing in the sense that I might not, for example, how I viewed it when with myself is that I saw competition as like I always have to be number one, but that doesn't necessarily mean that for me. It was always
Mm-hmm.
okay. Maybe competition could be I'm helping other people to strive and things like that. So there's a positive and a negative that came with mine. But I think it's linking it, as you say, linking it back to the environment you want to be in. Does the business or does the organization or the area that I'm in allow me to be competitive in however I would see it, in an individual, in a team, in the business? Like, so I think it's about ensuring that organizations, and I guess this comes into how we're looking at our careers and ourselves, the businesses that we're going into or the business that we are creating, it serves our strengths. We're not serving them, and that's it. We're really thinking about how is that can be actually going to help me. That's
Yeah,
how I
that is
understand it.
definitely one of the strongest use cases for this. Definitely. It honestly, it helped me get out of my last employment. I've put all of these together and I realized I'm in the wrong place and I quit.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that people should do that. Don't do it like that. But for me, it was really transformative. And I looked at something. Somebody asked me, "What do you want?" And you know what I said? I said, "I want to be happy." This somebody who asked me is making above the million, and they looked at me and think, "Oh." But I was like, for me, that is real. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be happy. So I think exactly what you just said is it will inform your decisions, and it will also make you see the reality for what it is. And it will also, at least what I experienced with people that I worked with in mentoring and coaching, so paid and unpaid, that's the difference between the two, they gain confidence. They
Mhm.
feel a bit more like, it's like a veil uplifts, from your eyes, from in front of your eyes.
I also think that I think having an awareness of strengths is really powerful, not just for our own careers, but actually how we work in recruitment. I've noticed that my questioning gets better towards candidates I work with, and you can kind of detect bullshit a lot quicker.
Mm-hmm.
When you ask someone about, what environments do you want to be in, it's like, oh, I don't know. Well, let's have a serious discussion about this, because if you don't know what you want, how can I actually help you? It's
Oh
just
my
like
God,
I'm just trying to list benefits for you, and
yeah.
then it just comes a competition of who can offer you the most. But if you really peel it back and understand, okay, what do you actually value? What are your strengths? And then you really understand the businesses you're operating in. Actually, we can truly offer that. There's something deep core level you can actually hone in on. So going through the Clifton Strength Training was really powerful for us as a team, for individuals, and how we operate as a company. But actually, it's dramatically helped us in how we do recruitment, which
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a byproduct. I had no idea. I didn't expect it to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I think even going through, for example, going through the operating system that you've created, same thing. Once people start realizing how they can view their own careers a bit more, they can then coach others in the processes they're in and kind of create this flywheel effect. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned as well before transferable skills, right, to me. So
Mm-hmm.
again, I feel like sometimes people fall into recruitment, sometimes people come into it like on an intentional level. But I feel like recruitment's one of these jobs where we do get stuck quite often, and people kind of like don't really know how to maneuver. And I know, for example, you're very passionate about kind of the principal route, and you don't always have to go down the leadership side, in the more traditional sense. So, um, how do you recognize the transferable skills in yourself from other parts of your career or other parts of your life that you can kind of bring into your day-to-day roles?
Mm-hmm. I think one important thing here is that I don't think we can avoid this anymore, honestly. I don't think we can avoid looking at this anymore, especially in talent acquisition. I mean, the signs are there with all the tools that are out there, all the things that can be automated. There is ton and ton of literature on this coming out, and proper research, not just some LinkedIn influencer sharing their opinion, but real research. So therefore, I think it is essential that we have a good, deep look at our own situation and start understanding these things. I want to make this super clear because I think sometimes it can be very woo woo, like, oh, my transferable skills. Yeah, but if you haven't thought about them until now, I think you should, because our roles will transform, being that we want to or we don't want to. Um, this is one. And the second part is, even for individuals who have already been through, let's say, boot camps, coding boot camps, or they've had been laid off at some point and decided, you know what, I'm going to go and become a data analyst and do a 6 months boot camp and then struggle like hell to find a job. Um, it's sad but true. But then you also have to have a good look at yourself. So it can be applied to and a number of other use cases, I would imagine. But to come back to your question about transferable skills, I think I would start with the same place: a good
Mhm.
deep look at yourself. It starts with an audit, and the audit is nothing more but honestly listing everything you do in your job. And when I say everything, I mean everything, because we do a job, whatever that is, and we think, I'm not going to put this down. This is normal. Everybody knows this.
Yeah.
No, no. Put it down. Yes, it's trivial. You may think it's trivial right now. Put it down, because from that you will need to extract capabilities. So imagine it like this, right? I mean, the actual operating system kind of looks like this. Imagine a place where you dump everything you do. From there, you have to extract capabilities. Capabilities are not the same as skills. Skills are in capabilities, right? So you have your tasks, as mundane as they may look, you extract your capabilities, and then you extract your skills. A skill can be, for example, people call it hard skill, soft skill, whatever. Let's just say communication is a skill that you ended up with, right? And then you end up with the hard skills, the core skills, the however you want to name them. And these are the ones that you then can easily identify in another job. And that job can be outside of your company, inside your company, up, diagonal, horizontal, right? Move. Or it can be a completely different area, completely different. But having this informed, granular way of looking at your skills will allow you to then say, hold on a minute, they are asking for, I don't know, I'll use communication, strong communication skills because you will be dealing with 25 stakeholders at once. And then you go and look at your work and you're like, okay, what examples can I use about this?
Yeah.
How can I explain that this skill that I have is transferable to their need? And having all of this in your eyesight, when you do that, it gives you so much confidence and relief. So I think that's the way I would approach this.
So tasks, capabilities, skills. Can you give me an example of what a capability would look like?
Yes. So imagine that one of the things that you do or you did in your job, you worked on a project. You didn't necessarily lead the project, but you were part of a larger project in your organization. I don't know, implementing a new AI interviewing tool. And you were part of that project. And this was the task, so to speak, that you were working on. For example, you were auditing the other tools that you have in the company. This was your task in this project, to look at what other tools are there and how do they work, how would they be able to integrate with the AI interviewing tool. And from there, you have the capability of auditing tools, so basically researching and understanding. So you have the ability to audit the different tools and how they interact. You have the capability to research and understand how they interact with each other, so connect the dots. And then the skill would be critical thinking.
Okay.
And then one of the skills could also be research, for example. But then a capability is composed of multiple skills. So in me auditing those tools and how they integrate with each other, I need to be able to have research skills. I have to be able to understand technology. I need to be able to critically think about where these integrations are taking part. So you may have a number of skills into one capability. I hope this.
Yeah, no, it does. And would you recommend that somebody does this, like compartmentalize it? So I'm going to start with listing everything I do, come away from it, then go back to it. I'm going to look through those tasks and look at the capabilities, come away, go back. Because what I'm thinking, I know I would probably do this. This is what I'm saying it. I would probably try to already match skills as I'm thinking of my task and miss that capability part out, because that's my mind still going, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this. You know, it's quite a big task. So do you think start one part at a time, come away from it, reflect back, go back into it again?
I think that would be smart, but if I'm honest, I don't think this is going to serve me very well. But this capability piece in the middle, we can somehow skip it. I think it is necessary for individuals who are struggling to extract from this. My part in this project was to audit the tools and understand how they interact so that we can bring another tool in. But they are unable to extract the skills from that. So that's when you have this middle part, which will help you with coming to the, okay, so what capabilities do I get here? What did I actually do? And then what are the skills? However, I wouldn't say that we should just block ourselves in this. The bottom line, what we need to get to is, from every single thing we do, as ridiculous as this may sound, we derive a skill. And those skills will be repeated. So don't imagine you will end up with 500,000 skills. No, you will have a repetition. This will also inform some of your strengths a little bit. So I wouldn't laser focus on the capability part, because what we want in the end is to understand what our skills are and understand where our gaps are from there.
I also think it's really important, if you take it back to talent acquisition in general, and that the market is returning. I definitely see that. We're not as bad as it was a year, 2 years ago. Not anywhere where we would like it to be, but seeing more TA professionals get jobs, more jobs being posted, it's a really positive sign. But then how do we make ourselves stand out? I think doing something like this, what you're saying there, is really analysing those repeatable skills that you have, almost creating it as your strengths, and then adjusting our resumes to reflect that better, and really saying that these are the areas I lean into a lot, and this is proven record that I've got on that. Because I do see a lot of TA CVs, and it's a lot of repeatable actions that we all kind of similarly do. We screen resumes, we do this, we do scheduling, etc. But I think move away from just that standard where we can't differentiate who's the strengths that you have, and really lean into this type of verbiage. I think that might. I would like to see someone's CV about that. I think it could make a more impactful CV that I would probably sit there and go, "Oh, that's interesting." We're going through the process of analysing an AI tool, and you might want to have a deeper chat around that. What do you think matters in our jobs, in our careers? Perfection or visibility?
What was the first one?
Perfection or visibility?
Perfection. I wish perfection would not be a thing, says the perfectionist. Can I choose neither?
You can choose neither. It's more the sense of how would you feel about us developing our careers, trying to go for promotions, we're embedded in a company. How's best for us to try and move forward?
Visibility.
Why so?
Today, perfectionism can be achieved with a tool.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I see how ChatGPT writes sometimes. I don't know if perfection is a thing there.
But think about, let's say there is somebody who still works as a recruitment coordinator. There is very soon this is going to be easily automated. Yes, with all the intricacies of coordination, it can still be done. But I think perfectionism is unattainable, and I think we are just running ourselves into the ground, chasing after that, because the goalpost will always be moved. What was perfect today is not perfect tomorrow, and so on and so forth. We drive ourselves into the ground. Visibility, however, and this is when I said, can I choose neither? I was thinking about one very important thing, and that is influence without authority. And visibility will allow you to go into that. So making people aware of the things that you do and how those things return investment for the company, how you save costs, how you save time, quite close to each other actually. This will gain you exposure, and through that exposure, you will be able to gain influence without authority. So if I was to choose between the two, I would go with visibility.
How do you do that? How do you kind of highlight the impact you're having inside your business without one being, an ego bloater, because no one likes that, and secondly, without really pushing yourself, or should you push yourself too much out there to really showcase that? Because some people they don't like the spotlight being on them. They like to see the results, and they feel like the results will speak for them, which I guess is more that perfection route. But you're saying, obviously, we need to try and gain influence without the authority, and that's, you're going to need to showcase it. So how can you showcase it in an authentic way where you don't feel really awkward?
Oh yeah, well, if I wouldn't know about that, that is so me, or it was so me. I was like, I've done all this amazing work. You can see the results. I mean, think about, I don't know, hiring. I was hiring at Zalando at some point. I remember I hired 3 times as much as some of my colleagues in the same amount of time. Of course, this speaks for itself, I thought.
Yeah.
I also thought, this thing of my job is just normal. Everybody does it. Why should I speak about it? That's what I thought. This is, of course, this is so simple. I shouldn't talk about it. Yeah, no. There is something called, so that's why I think it is essential that we do a really solid performance, a really solid audit of ourselves to understand what on earth do we really actually do. And as you mentioned, don't become an ego booster. That's not the point of it. It is for us to gain confidence that, oh, actually, I do a lot of things. And actually, okay, think the next level is, okay, how do these things bring value to the organization that I'm in or to whatever I'm doing? It may be that you're a freelancer, right? Or whatever it might be. How do I bring value to the things that I do? And then really thinking of, okay, have I saved anyone any time by doing what I do? Have I, because my conversion rates are better in the funnel, for example, what does this actually mean? I can look at the conversion rates around me, or if I don't have that data, I have benchmarks, right? Or I have data outside, go on communities, ask them for it. And then I can, okay, my conversion rates are better. How does this translate to business impact, positive business
Right.
impact? And then put all of that in a brag document. Let's not call it a brag document. Somebody told me once that this sounds so boasting and it's not, they don't feel comfortable. Name it however you want. Name it the value that I bring document.
Bullet brag document. It rolls off the tongue better. The
Yeah.
value
I'm
that I
like,
bring document. No.
whatever you decide, whatever works for you. The point being, you go through all of that exercise, understanding where you stand, what do you do, how you do, da 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 da. And then it's like, so what? Yeah, so what? Where does this positively impact the environment that I'm in? I'm helping others. How does that help? Whatever it might be. Now, when you're an introverted individual or where you're someone thinking, this doesn't really matter, it's just normal. Yes, that's potentially normal, but where it will help even an introverted person, most people will have a one-on-one with their manager at some point. Most people will
We'd
have
like to think.
we would like to think, I know, yes. Let's assume that in healthy
Let's assume that managers
organizations,
are being nice and normal.
yes, and we are in a healthy enough organization, and they will have one-on-ones with their people, and they will have maybe a performance cycle, right? Or maybe they will have feedback to input, right? How do you rate yourself over the last 6 months? This, when it's a bit more behind closed doors, this is the place where introverts will anyway have to participate in because they don't really have a choice. So it will not be about them bragging outside of it, but in there. And in that moment, when you have a conversation with your leader, when you have a conversation with someone in your organization, a stakeholder that you work with, that you hire for their domain, you can bring these little things up and you can ask them, what is I've done this thing, right? Can you help me understand what value this brought to the business if I'm not able to understand it myself? I would like to understand what value this brought to the business. And is this something that I can maybe support others with, you think? Or is this something that you would feel comfortable sharing with the rest of the team as something I have done? Because I think it may help others as well. So even if you don't want to be center stage, you can delegate this task, or you can try to delegate this task to another human being who maybe has the presence to go and say, oh, and we did this thing, X just solved out this thing. They brought the value of ABC. We wanted to share it with the world. We want to bring this to life in the other teams. So you can, yeah, delegate the speaking part to somebody else.
And that's anchoring it to an actual real way that you can kind of showcase the feedback without, or the impact you've had without you saying, hey, everyone look at me, I'm over here,
Yeah.
like put spotlight. I mean, as you're speaking about that, we do that at Peritus. Obviously, as an external recruit, we have to gloat every now and again. We have to try and win new business by showing what we do. And one of the ways that's really effective, which actually helps us break into other parts of the same company. The business is like 2,000 people big. We only work with a very small part of it, but it was basically we showcased the numbers, start to finish. This is how many people we interviewed or reached. This is how many people we interviewed. This is how many people you saw, and this is how many offers we made, and this is the time frame. And these are all the other people that we viewed but never messaged, right? And like the numbers, it speaks volumes. Like you start several thousand, it kind of comes down, and you got like 2 finals, 1 offer, 1 deal, fine. But that's when you put it in front of them, they go, okay, you've saved a shit ton of time there. Like
Yeah.
my team weren't interviewing that many people. They only had to see the 4 or the 5. So we did that, and it helped us break into another department, and then from there another one, and so on and so forth. It's really powerful.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing, but obviously we didn't sit there and say, "Hey, look at us." We just put a post up on LinkedIn, tagged the company, and that was it, and it just
Yeah.
worked. Which I think is easier for us because obviously external we can do it, and you don't feel as awkward because it's a sales tool, as it were. But I really like that how you've explained there, how you can kind of use it into your own personal work as well, shall we say.
Yeah. I hope people get out of this the fact that there are many people, for people, I seem like I'm a super extroverted person in general. And that for me, this would be super easy. Oh, yeah, I've been told, oh, yeah, you talk, but these things for you come super easy. That's not true. I'm not even able to talk properly about the things that I do and all the value that I bring to the startups that I collaborate with, to the people that I coach. Every person has a struggle of some sorts. But I think not knowing not dedicating time for ourselves to go through the depth and become as self-aware as we can be, I think this is one of the most detrimental things that we can do to ourselves. Really sit down. It's like, what on earth do you do? Definitely there is value in the work that you bring to the table, unless you're lazy. But let's assume you're not lazy.
I don't think our listeners, I'm going to put it out there, I don't think a single listener of a podcast is going to sit there and say self-proclaimed lazy. So I think we're safe
Yeah.
on that one.
But
I'd like
I
to
tell
think.
you one thing, they will know someone
Yeah.
who they either think is lazy or really is lazy. But yeah, I also think that people tuning into podcasts in general and keeping in touch with some topics like this, they are probably so far from lazy that it's just laughable. But even they think it's not important to talk about. It is important to talk about what you do. And another thing is, think about the whole thing. You finish your tasks, you finish like, oh my god, I do a lot. You have 130 tasks. You extract 20 skills. You then say, ooh, some of these skills I loathe. Some of them you
Mhm.
really you do it because you have to, but it's not something that you want to be doing for the long term. Then you have, and some of the things you're really enjoying, right? Some of the skills that you have are really solid and you enjoy them. And then you have your values and then you have your strengths. How much more informed are you when it comes to making a decision about, do I really want that promotion to a manager role?
Yeah.
Do I really want to stay in this company? Do I really want to interview for that company? Whatever it might be, your case. And I want to share a very short story about someone I worked with. There was an individual who trained from being a baker. So it was a school of coding and boot camps and so on. And there was an individual who was a baker and they were making music before.
Okay.
And then also adult. So I'm not talking about 20-year-old. And they came to this boot camp and then they were like flabbergasted. And now what? I want to say that people who do things in life, anything you do, you can extract a skill. So for a junior recruiter out there, for someone who's stepping into this profession maybe for a year or two, and they're like, I don't have enough to talk about. You have a life. From that life, you can extract skills. Is it baking? Is it music making? From everything we do, we can and we should extract skills. I paint. That's creativity. So, you know, I really would love to encourage people to think beyond the desk job.
Yeah. The tasks that we're assigned at work and think bigger and find the strengths from there.
Yeah.
I appreciate, Andrea, you running through this. Like I said, like I said, I've used the Clifton. You've recommended the Red Bull career wings element. I'll put that in the footnotes. But you've obviously got your career operating system that you're working on with the community and
Yeah.
obviously those that you're supporting. So if anyone wants to follow up with this, if anyone wants to join the community, or if anyone wants to find you, where is the best place that they can get hold of you?
Oh, it has to be LinkedIn or my website. So there is the
I'm
principal
going to throw this
recruiter.
out there. really sorry. I actually get hold of you quicker on Slack. I'm just throwing it out there. Slack or
That's
WhatsApp,
that's also
you're
true.
quicker at
That is
responding
also
than
true.
LinkedIn. But
Yeah, that's
God,
true.
continue.
Yeah, it's true. The Slack, I think, is a bit more humane because, as most of us, my LinkedIn is flooded with stuff we don't talk about. But yeah, Slack is good. Slack is very good. That's true. But for that, they need to be part of the community. And maybe not everyone listening wants to be part of the community. And if someone wants to get hold of me for the consulting piece, then there is my website, which is the most pretentious title out there. It's like theprincipalrecruiter.com. It just had to be done. LinkedIn, it's also an option. But yes, if they want to join the community, I welcome them with open arms. And there is Slack. Yes.
Thank you so much for joining, and once again for being a returning guest. You are our second returning guest. Who knows? You might be the third or the third
Third.
time guest. I don't know. We'll
Let's see.
see. We'll see the response on this one. But thank you so much for joining. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. Likewise.